Hello, Professor. This is Veronica Hernandez for EDAD 602, my last reflective journal for the class. And in this occasion, you're talking about whether our district has a curriculum that is aligned to the Common Core standards. And yes, we do. For math, we have Eureka Math. It's aligned to the Common Core standards. For ELA, we're in the process of being aligned. We just adopted Benchmark Advance. So that one will be aligned, and the middle school adopted collections. It'll also be aligned. For science, we have in GSS, and we have STEM scopes, and that's aligned. Do teachers have flexibility? So they have a pacing guide, and teachers are able to go in and add, if they're going to be testing a certain week, so they might teach for 5 weeks, and then they have a week where they can go back and reassess and reteach. But within those weeks, I know for math, they can put certain lessons together. So there is some flexibility. Depending on the grade level, they're the ones that determine when they want to assess. They're the ones that determine how many weeks they want to take on a certain unit. So it does have some flexibility. This is important because obviously not all students learn the same way. Instructors need to go back sometimes and they need to reteach, or they need to slow down their pacing, or they need to go faster depending on if students are understanding the material that they're being taught. So it is very important. Another question that you have is, is there mutual accountability? I would say that as a district employee, I see all the schools. I would say that about 2 of the schools, there's a lot of accountability. Principals are constantly going into the classrooms and they're using data, and I see 2 of the schools that are struggling a little bit more with the teachers are not being held accountable, and it reflects especially with the scores that they get, and it also reflects when the principal comes to principal meetings and you notice that she doesn't know, like, what were the test scores, what were the outcomes, where certain grade levels are at, and there's like not a lot of accountability there. I know that teachers have data, but sometimes how they use the data, they're not knowledgeable enough about it. So, which leads into the next question that you ask. How are data used for student placement into classes? In our district, we have an RTI program, so students are chosen based on the data that they take. So for example, there's a couple of assessments. They have the DIBELS, they have iReady diagnostic scores, and they have BPST. Depending on where students fall on foundational skills, they will get pulled into RTI. Another area is ELD. We use the cell testing for ELD. So we determine for our designated ELD which classes students will be placed in according to the level they are on CELT. Another one is forming classes at the end of the year. For the beginning of the year, they want classes that are mixed high, middle, low ability levels. And we also do this for targeted instruction and differentiation in classes. We might use DIBELS, we might use the diagnostics, we use BPST. So teachers have a lot of data, which leads me to the next question that you also asked, which is, how could more types of data be brought to bear in order to ensure expanded learning opportunities? I feel that in my district there's a lot of data. Teachers have lots of data. What I feel is the steps that's missing is, what are they going to do with the data? What are their next steps? Planning out the next steps. Okay, so I have this data. What can I do now? Where will I take this? Why have this data? And I feel that that's what we need more than so much data. They have data. They have lots of data. They have the SBAC data. They have the iReady data, which has diagnostics and standards mastery. They have math data. They have writing data. They have spelling data. They have grammar data. They have a variety of data. But I think that when it's time for PLCs, a lot of them, they get stuck on, okay, well, here's the data, but they don't go to the next step of saying, okay, so what are we going to do with this data and how are we going to change our instruction? So that's all for now, Professor. Thank you. I really enjoyed your class and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.